The courtroom buzzed with tension. Reporters tapped their pens, the gallery murmured, and the attorneys shuffled their files nervously. At the center of it all stood a young black lawyer, calm but determined, ready to argue her case. She straightened her navy blazer, adjusted her notes, and prepared to speak when the presiding judge cleared his throat. The judge, an older white man with a reputation for arrogance, smirked as his eyes scanned the lawyer. "Counselor," he said, his tone laced with sarcasm, "are you sure you belong here? This isn't a practice round for beginners?" A few chuckles rippled from the gallery. The lawyer didn't flinch. She kept her gaze steady, her face unreadable, but the judge wasn't done humiliating her. Leaning forward, he added, "I don't expect much from someone like you. Keep your arguments short. Don't waste the court's time." The insult hung heavy in the air. Cameras clicked, capturing every sneer, every smirk. Some in the gallery shook their heads in disbelief. Others whispered, enjoying the spectacle. The opposing counsel grinned, thinking the case was already won. But the young lawyer, she remained silent. Not a word. Her calmness wasn't weakness. It was something else, something no one in that courtroom understood yet. Her eyes didn't reveal anger or fear, only patience, as if she was waiting for something the judge couldn't see coming. The judge slammed his gavel. "Proceed," he barked, believing he had already put her in her place. What he didn't know was that in a matter of moments, his world and his pride would be shattered in front of everyone. The hearing dragged on, the old judge throwing in sly remarks every chance he got. Each time the black lawyer spoke, he interrupted. Each time she presented an argument, he mocked her tone. The gallery whispered, some uncomfortable, others entertained by the show. But through it all, the young lawyer never lost her composure. She spoke with clarity, with precision, and with an almost eerie calm. It was as if she knew something no one else in the courtroom did. Suddenly, the heavy double doors at the back of the courtroom swung open. The sound echoed like thunder across the chamber. Every head turned. A group of officials entered, their steps firm, their expressions serious. The air shifted instantly. Something important was about to happen. The judge squinted, clearly annoyed. "What is this interruption?" he snapped, slamming his gavel, but no one responded. Instead, the officials walked straight past the gallery, straight past the lawyers, until they stopped right in front of the bench. One of them, holding a sealed folder, spoke loudly for all to hear. "By order of the Judicial Committee. Effective immediately, this courtroom recognizes a new Chief Justice." Gasps filled the room. Reporters scrambled for their cameras. The judge's smug smile faltered. He glanced around, confused. Then came the twist. The official turned toward the very lawyer he had been mocking all morning. "Counselor," he said, bowing his head slightly, "please rise to be formally acknowledged as the new Chief Justice." The entire room erupted, shocked, gasps, hurried whispers, flashing cameras. The judge froze in disbelief. His gavel slipped from his trembling hand, clattering against the desk. "WH what?" he stammered, his voice cracking, but it was too late. The truth was out. The woman he had mocked, humiliated and dismissed as nothing, is now the highest authority in the entire court system. She stood slowly, her calm expression unchanged. Only now the silence in the courtroom belonged entirely to her. The courtroom was frozen in disbelief. Reporters raised their cameras higher, desperate to capture the historic moment. Lawyers in the gallery stared with wide eyes. Even the opposing counsel, who had been grinning earlier, now looked pale. The judge's lips quivered. This must be some kind of mistake," he muttered, his arrogance melting into panic. His voice cracked as he tried to regain authority. "You can't be Chief Justice!" The black woman, now standing tall, walked slowly toward the bench. Her heels clicked sharply against the marble floor, each step echoing like a drumbeat of justice. She stopped just inches away from the trembling judge and looked him directly in the eye. "Did you not say," she began calmly, her voice carrying through the silent room, "that I don't belong here? That I'm wasting the court's time?" The judge swallowed hard, unable to respond. She turned toward the gallery, her voice stronger now. "Let this be clear. The law is not a stage for humiliation. Respect is not optionally, is mandatory. But today justice begins, not with your gavel." She looked back at the stunned judge, "but with your accountability." Gasps filled the room. Reporters furiously scribbled notes. The crowd leaned forward, hanging onto every word. The officials stepped in, handing her the Chief Justice's robe. She slipped it on effortlessly, her authority now undeniable. Then, with deliberate calm, she picked up the gavel that had fallen from the judge's hand. Effective immediately, she declared, "This court recognizes my authority, and my first ruling is the removal of this judge for conduct unworthy of the bench." The gallery erupted, cheers, claps, flashes from cameras. The once arrogant judge was escorted out, his head hanging low, his pride in tatters. The new Chief Justice looked around the courtroom, her gaze steady and unshakable. This is the lesson for all to see. Never mistake dignity for weakness. And never forget power belongs to those who respect others. The gavel struck. Justice had spoken.